The window is getting smaller for the Flames' playoff hopes. Dylan and Chris from the Armchair GM Podcast, brought to you by the Hockey Podcast Network. Hey, Dylan, did you know that if you are a bottom feeding team, you will likely beat the Calgary Flames?
Well, there's a 50-50 chance or somewhere around there, considering that the Flames probably should be a bottom feeding team with how they play.
It feels like it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely feels like it. God, what a weird month of March so far, right? I mean,
Yeah.
once we kind of started to get a little bit of momentum or groove after beating Dallas and Minnesota, the next three games was just such a shit show.
Yeah. And, we lost to Anaheim and we lost to Arizona. And even though we won against Ottawa, which we haven't done in what seems like forever, I don't really count that. Like, Ottawa was on such a weird road trip and they were on a back to back, and
Yeah.
they don't have their starting goaltender, and not that that usually matters against the Flames. It just seemed like that was a scheduled win for the Flames.
Yeah.
Not that they usually win those, but it
No,
just seems like it doesn't seem like a victory. I mean, like, obviously it's 2 points in the standings, but it just doesn't seem like beating Ottawa that game is that much of a victory.
no, and when you sprinkle it in between, the Anaheim and the Arizona games, it's just a game, right? We
Yeah.
we we exploited some questionable goaltending, and got a couple of lucky bounces, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty much all that amounted to. It
Yeah.
wasn't something that I was like, oh yeah, here we go. Now we're in the mix, right? Like, it certainly
Yeah.
wasn't that.
And even if you look back to that 1-0 shootout win in Minnesota,
Mhm.
a lot of people were really excited about that game because Markstrom was back. And yes, I agree. Like, Markstrom's been very good lately,
Mhm.
but you didn't score a goal.
Yeah, we didn't score a goal, but I mean, at the end of the day, though, I was more excited about the game itself. The pace was phenomenal. Like
It
it
was a
was,
good
it
game.
was exciting to watch, even though we didn't, there was no goals.
Yeah.
I was excited about the game, just not necessarily thinking that the Flames are building into something, but at least, as far as I was concerned, it was one of the best games they played for at least half the season. Like, as far
Yeah.
as pace and moving the puck and even defending, right? Like, it was a really good game, from both teams. Minnesota looked really good, Calgary looked really good. It was just an all out good game. It was
Yeah.
it was fun to watch. Yeah.
And I think I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, because the one goal in Anaheim was a power play goal.
Mhm.
And then, so before Ottawa, we hadn't scored at 5-on-5 in like a game and a half, or two full games. It had been two full games since we scored 5-on-5.
Yeah, not since Dallas.
And that's pretty scary, honestly.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and not to mention even before that, right? We scored 5-on-5 in Dallas, but two nights before that we got shut out by Minnesota. So it's like we're not. I mean, we're certainly not consistent.
yeah. And the only goal against Toronto was shorthanded. So we hadn't scored 5-on-5
Yeah.
in those two games. And in Dallas, I'm just looking it up now. Yeah, those were 5-on-5 goals. All of them actually.
Mhm.
So besides Dallas, we haven't scored 5-on-5 in in 4 games there before Ottawa.
Mhm.
So that was a worrisome trend. So I guess scoring 5 goals against Ottawa was good, even though you damn well should have. And you know 3 of them were 5-on-5, so that was a good trend. Um, but
Yeah.
taking 3 points out of a possible 6 against Anaheim, Arizona, and Ottawa is unacceptable for a team that's supposed to be good, in my
Well,
opinion. Not that Ottawa is a bad team, because they're not, but
yeah, it's just completely unacceptable for a team that's supposed to be playing for their playoff lives,
yeah,
right? Like you're not making playoffs with that, right?
no, absolutely not.
Like so far, this month, right? Like what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So it's 14 points. We've got 7 points.
Yeah.
That's
And
500.
something that's kind of blowing my mind too is like finally we have 2 of those keys to success that everybody have been talking about for the last couple months. Finally we have Markstrom going and
Mhm.
Huberdeau going, and we're losing in
Yeah.
overtime to Arizona in a game that honestly we didn't deserve to be there in the first place.
No, we were flat. Like,
Yeah.
and that's another thing, right? You have a home game on Sunday against Ottawa where, effectively on the scoreboard, you blow them out of the water. And then you come out 2 days later in Arizona completely flat and disinterested in playing hockey. There is zero emotion, zero urgency.
Yeah.
It was gross. It really was gross. Like halfway through the first, I was like, well, yeah. I mean, I felt the loss,
Yeah.
before the first was even over.
Even when we were even when we were, coming back and tying it up, even after Dewar, who made a nice little move there and scored
Mhm.
to tie it up, scored, I was still like, it just didn't feel like we were gonna win the game.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, not once in that, even after Backlund scored the first goal of the game, it still didn't feel like it was going to be a win.
Right.
And that's, call me negative all you want, but it just, as a spectator, you can kind of feel what the game looks like by watching and by paying attention. And it just didn't feel like a win.
No, it didn't. And even, we got lucky. I mean, I'll say lucky. I mean, yes, there was contact on that disallowed goal. But when you look at the play, like Markstrom was sliding, away from the crease. He
Yeah.
wasn't going to make that save anyways, in my opinion.
On the disallowed goal, that one's hard to decipher for me, because yeah, he was sliding away from it, but it kind of looked like a it was kind of heading towards his glove before the guy basically ran into his glove and knocked it away. But it could have gone in anyways.
Yeah.
You can't really, it's hard to tell, honestly. It was 100% goalie interference,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was um one of those, he would have made the save, or
Yeah. That's hard to judge, right?
yeah,
But can you believe it? 2 times in the month of March, we've had the Toronto War Room
go
make
our way.
calls in our favor. What? Un-
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
I know.
Somebody probably got fired over that.
I'm not. I don't subscribe to the notion that the war room is against Calgary, or that the war room is against Canadian teams, or
No.
anything like that. I think they just have no idea what's going on in general.
Right. Oh yeah, no, they're bad.
Yeah.
all the way across,
And
all
I
the way
don't think
across the
they're
board.
making decisions like we're going to cost Calgary this game. I feel like
Yeah.
they're trying to make the right decisions. They just have no fucking idea what they're doing.
Well, it would be easier if they would actually define what the calls are and should be. Like goaltender interference is just such a loose term. It can
And
mean anything.
kicking motion,
Oh
distinct
fuck.
kicking motion, and
Yeah.
there's all sorts of things um that they review that you just don't even like. I remember there was one, I can't even remember who it was against, but
Yeah.
it was Mangiapane this year that scored and it went off his skate. And all of us in our group chat were talking and we were like, oh, there's no way that's a goal.
Yeah.
Like he legitimately kicked it
Yeah.
into the net. Like he thrust his skate forwards and kicked it into the net.
And they allowed it.
And then the war room, said it was a goal. And then we're all thinking back to that Coleman thing in the
Yeah. Well,
in the playoffs
maybe
last
they
year.
felt
And
that
it's
they
like,
owed us, right?
well, yeah, well,
I know. I'm only kidding.
no,
I mean,
I know.
like the one against Edmonton in the playoffs last year, I will die on that hill. Like,
Yeah.
like how a person could possibly kick a puck while on one skate is baffling to me.
I had Edmonton fans talking to me saying like that should have counted.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, it had no bearing on the series.
no, I
But-
don't think it would
but-
have like won us or
Yeah.
like even really shifted momentum that much. It just
No. But it was ridiculous.
and the fact that you had Sutter and Coleman, and then when the Edmonton players were asked about it, they just kind of like laughed about it because they knew it was fucking bullshit too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah. The situation room just, they don't know. They just, and
Yeah.
like I said, nobody knows because this stuff isn't actually truly defined.
Yeah. And Coleman straight up said, like, I guess I don't know where the kick is, or I don't know what the rule is, right? Like, even though he's, won 2 Stanley Cups in the last couple years, and
Yeah, a veteran in the league that doesn't know the rules, right?
mm-hmm.
Which,
But
yeah, say la vie, right?
yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
what was your greatest frustration with the game against Arizona in Arizona?
Oh man, there was so many frustrations. My greatest one.
Yeah.
That's tough. I feel like you've got something you want to say, so I'll think about it while you say what you're going to say.
And we've been doing it for a large chunk of the season, and I see it time and time again. But we did it repeatedly. I guess last night or on Tuesday night against Arizona, in a dangerous situation where we have the puck and potentially the other team's coming after us and we're going to lose the puck. They're passing the puck a foot away to a player that's not expecting a pass.
The short support passes.
Yeah. When they're passing it to somebody that's actually stationary, that will never ever work. Ever.
So, what's funny, and the reason I liked it back, because that was one thing I really liked about Hartley's system, was that it was all short support passes like that, but they were always moving.
Yeah, right. Bang bang plays are good.
Yeah.
But when you're just shuffling it a foot or two to a guy that's not expecting the puck and it isn't moving his feet yet,
Yeah.
like you're just setting him up to be annihilated with a hit, or he's just going to cough the puck up immediately, which they did repeatedly against against Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my greatest frustration is that it didn't seem like there was any engagement from, I want to say, 3/4 of the team. Like I thought Huberdeau was engaged, honestly. I I thought Dubé was engaged. I thought Stetcher was engaged.
Stetcher had a really good game. I was
Yeah.
really happy with his game. Yeah.
Dewar was engaged. One thing that really frustrated me, I know it was only like 2 shifts, but what the Lucic thing where, and I'm usually not a guy who shits on Lucic because I know what his role is,
Yeah.
but you to send a message to Peltier for whatever Peltier may have done wrong, which I don't know what it was, but
I was trying to figure out what he did too, and I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. So Sutter threw Lucic on the first line for a couple shifts, and it just
killed any
made the
momentum.
team even more flat than it already was.
Yeah.
And
if you're gonna switch it up like that to I guess make an example out of one of your players,
put Dewar up there or something.
Exactly. Put somebody that's battling hard and is showing life in that position, right? If you want to make a statement, I get it. It is what it is. But to put Luch there, because I mean he's had a really bad 2-3 games.
Yeah, he hasn't looked good. Like honestly, and again, I'm not a Lucic hater. Like I've defended him lots, but he hasn't looked good for more than 10 games out of 60, whatever we're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think he looked all right to start the season, and then he looked pretty good for like 5 or 6 games after his scratch.
Yeah, after being sat for, was it 2-3 games there, when he came back, he was skating with a purpose again and looked engaged.
Yeah.
But that has fizzled out. I mean, he's losing the puck every time now. He's not winning puck battles in the corner. Like you can't hang on to the puck. His passing is atrocious. Other than the fact, he set up Dewar for the goal.
Dewar did that all by himself.
Truly. Yeah. I mean, the pass that he gave him was in the neutral zone, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, you're right. I mean, if you're gonna send the message, send the message. But Sutter fucked that up. Like he sent the wrong player in that position, in my opinion.
And he sent a message to the wrong player.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anybody saw what Peltier was doing wrong. Maybe I just didn't see it. I don't know what it is, what happened there, but like if you're going to send a message to a player, like honestly, Kadri has been fucking useless for like 10 games. He's had like 1 good game in his last 10. If you're gonna send a message, even if you put Lewis on the second line for a shift or 2, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was actually drawing up some lines. I don't have it on me right now, but earlier I was drawing up some lines that I thought would be decent to blend up and just see if it creates a spark. And it had Kadri on the 4th.
Yeah.
And again, it's to send a message. And if he has jump, then you throw him back up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Send him down or knock him down a peg or 2. And if he wants to prove that he deserves his $7 million contract and wants to be part of the top 6 again, then great, prove it. But right now, like he looks like shit. Like I think I messaged you last night when with that game, like in one shift he ran into Huberdeau twice.
Yeah.
Like in the matter of seconds. Like holy fuck, man. Like you guys are different positions. You're not in the right spot to start with.
I mean, given he's a centerman and he is more allowed to go wherever, but wherever isn't on top of your other player who's carrying the puck currently.
Yeah.
And it's not like Huberdeau was out of position or
and he wasn't exactly, and he wasn't doing figure eights and anything fancy. He was just literally trying to get out of the zone.
Yeah. And I mean, you have friendly fire things happen every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I think everybody kind of saw that specific is there was one really egregious one. I think it was the first one of the two, but everybody kind of saw like what is cat like he wasn't even trying to do anything. It's like he was trying to take the puck away from Huberdeau when the puck was on a stick, and then he missed, so he ran into him.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
yeah,
what was
it
going
was
through
bizarre.
your fucking head?
Yeah. Yeah, it was bizarre. I mean, like let's be honest. Like, what was Kadri known for in Toronto? Being selfish and doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And whining a lot.
Yeah. And
And
I thought at the beginning of this season, I know I said it on the podcast, the last couple years of his career, he's really stepped up and not been that player anymore. He's still pesky, he's still in people's faces, but I thought he hadn't been like, and he's reverted back to his ways that made everybody fucking hate him for the first 8 years or whatever of his career.
Well, yeah, and he's not even pesky anymore. I mean, he's not in anybody's face. He just whines.
Oh, he's in the ref's face.
Yeah, he falls over and whines all the fucking time, and I'm tired of it.
Me too.
Like I would much rather him eating popcorn in the press box while the Flames are playing games. He is a liability.
He's become my least favorite player on the team.
Yeah,
it's not even really close. And that's saying a lot considering how much time personally I've spent crapping on Mangiapane and Zadorov over the last 2 years, 3 years for Mangiapane.
Yeah.
And the thing is he does a lot of the things that Mangiapane does, as far as getting the puck and skating it into no man's land and getting knocked over easily.
Yeah.
But Mangiapane gets back up and tries to get it back, whereas Kadri gets up and bitches to the refs about the contact that he himself initiated.
Yeah.
And he makes more money than Mangiapane.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
and plays higher in the lineup.
I mean, they were line mates at the beginning of the season. The line was doing well, really well, despite of Mangiapane at the time. Dubé and him, I thought, had pretty good chemistry for the first 3 weeks or whatever it was, 4 weeks of the season before the blender happened, and now Sutter is just, it's like he's doing it on purpose because he knows that Huberdeau and Kadri are not a good pair.
Yeah,
like he has to know. He's not a stupid man. He knows what he's doing.
And it's blatantly obvious. He gets asked by media, like, this is not working. Why are you doing it?
I think that's why. It's because he's being asked by media.
Yeah.
And he's stubborn.
And that's
like it's as egregious as Glenn Gullickson with TJ Brody and Hamonic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he rode that train to death. And then he finally split them up, and boom, both players are flourishing again.
Mm-hmm.
But he did
and the
that
thing
for
is,
months.
like, has Huberdeau showed chemistry with anyone else on the team? Not really. So no. I kind of get that, but he hasn't shown chemistry with Kadri either. Whereas Kadri has in the past shown chemistry with Mangiapane and Dubé.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking throw that line back together.
Yeah, make it the third line.
Try and put your best, in theory, your best playmaker with your top two snipers. Just try it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't make them fucking chase after the puck in the offensive zone. Let them make plays. Just try it.
Well, yeah,
that's what you did with Gaudreau and Tkachuk last year, and they fucking scored 40 each.
When you remove the player from the top line, because things weren't going well after the first 3 weeks or whatever it was, 4 weeks.
But the rest of the team was gelling at that point.
That's right. But the thing that gets me is Huberto was trying to learn a 100% different system than what he's ever played in his entire career.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an adjustment period.
Yeah.
And now that he seems to be picking it up, and he's got some mojo, and he's starting to move the puck better. And he's not doing as many stupid passes. They're still there, but
yeah, he's
I
not
think,
doing the spin pass much anymore.
No, thankfully. But I think now is the time. Now that he's starting to show that he gets it, now is the time to put him back on that top line with a couple of guys that can shoot the puck.
I agree. And Toffoli has confidence, but Lindholm doesn't have much offensive confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Give him somebody that can get him the puck.
Well, look at how many players they've had to be with, Toffoli and Lindholm on the top line.
Like Dubé.
They've had Dubé. They've had Ruz. They've had Huberdeau.
Yeah.
They've had.
I forgot about Ruzicka, but you're right there. They've had Lucic for a couple times.
No, Lucic was on the second.
No, but like last game he was on the
last
first
game,
for a couple shifts.
But and they keep putting players that really aren't true playmakers. They're muckers, right?
I think Ruzicka. I mean, yes, he is a mucker, and he should be, but I think he's got a lot more playmaking than we give him, or maybe most people give him credit for.
I would say he has
because
more...
he's so lazy when he's not on the top line.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I think he has more playmaking ability than Dubé does. I think Dubé is more of a scorer than a playmaker. Right?
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Dubé. I just don't think that's really his thing. I mean, he puts in a lot of fucking effort in the corner to get the puck out and things like that. And I respect him for it, and I appreciate it when he does it. At least he keeps on his feet for the most part. That's better than when he started in the NHL, right? I remember his first couple of games, he was getting his ass handed to him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he still does sometimes, but he's a lot better than he was.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I agree. I think we need to get Huberdeau back on the line with Toffoli and Lindholm, and then I think you put Peltz with Coleman and Backlund. I mean, I am so impressed with Peltz's ability to get back into play.
I think he does Mangiapane better than Mangiapane does Mangiapane.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of grit for his size, and he's tenacious as fuck. Like, he does not
Couldn't agree more.
And his ability to get back and defend when there's no, whether there's a defender there or not, like he does not give up on the puck. He's like a rabid dog.
And I don't see him fall over as much as I see Mangiapane fall over. He still does sometimes, but he's better on his edges, I find. So he's only getting knocked over when somebody's helping him get knocked over, instead of Mangiapane, who just falls over randomly.
Yeah, he's like a fainting goat.
One thing I did want to say, though, because one thing I've liked, even though Kadri's kind of ruined a lot of it, but the last couple games with Huberdeau playing with Dubé, how you were saying Dubé gets into the corners, I like that, because Huberdeau's not doing that. As much as I like all the players doing that, I prefer Huberdeau being open for a pass,
right,
and then setting somebody else up, or open for a pass so he can shoot even. I like having him with a strong forward checker like Dubé, who can get him the puck, and then everybody's in the corner, so Huberdeau has a little bit of time to play with it.
Yeah.
That's fair. And that's the one thing that Toffoli, I mean, Toffoli's okay at it, but Toffoli and Lindholm would both much rather not have to work in the. I mean, they will, but they'd rather not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, because when I see Lindholm in there, he's good at it, but he doesn't do it often. I do wish he would get mixing in the corner a lot more, and because he's a strong skater, he's a strong guy.
Yeah.
And so there's no reason why he can't be the guy in the corner feeding the puck out to Huberdeau and then get in a position in front of the net after that.
Yeah.
He's a strong player in front of the net. And he's got that extremely fast release on the puck. Like
I really think that if we hadn't been spending the last fucking 40 games or whatever it is with Huberdeau and Kadri together, like if Huberdeau was playing with either Lindholm and Toffoli or one of them, we'd have somebody with 35 or more goals. Maybe even two guys with 35-ish goals.
Yeah.
But really we have nobody close. Like our highest goal scorer is 26 with who's Toffoli, right? Which
Toffoli,
is kind of hard to fathom, actually, because
well, especially coming off the season that we had, right?
Yeah. Like Clayton Keller has 31.
Yeah. Was it 31 that shorthanded?
I think he got either to 31 or 32 last night. I can't remember.
The
I remember seeing 31 was the number when he scored one of his goals. I can't remember which one it was though.
Yeah, it was the second one. NBA fans, it's time to bring the hoops action to the palm of your hands with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 and win $200 in free bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. Opt in and place a same-game parlay on any NBA game, and if it doesn't hit, you'll get a free bet back. Download the app now and sign up with code THPN. New customers can bet $5 on the NBA and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, with code THPN. Minimum age, some restrictions apply. Void in Ohio. See show notes for details. So then who do you put on? Who's your third line? Then you got Dubé, Kadri, and Mangiapane?
Actually, I was being a smart ass earlier when I was posting it, but I had Zeri in there because I was being a smart ass, but that's not fair. That's not realistic. So my second line would be Peltier, Coleman, and Backlund, and then I think the Dubé, the Mangiapane Dubé Kadri line works, and it works. And again, I think it's more Kadri and Dubé work together, same as the way Backlund and Coleman work together. I think Mangiapane's just a guy who's there and doesn't really, his fancy stats are good because he plays with the best possession players on the team, not because he's actually good at it.
Yeah.
But I think if you throw that line together and kind of even out the ice time between the middle six, I think that could work very well.
I would almost even take a chance at bringing Dewar up to the third and have Dubé center the line.
And Kadri on the fourth?
Yeah. I honestly think a message needs to be sent to him.
I think in the short term, I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm not saying like a permanent thing, but I think for 2, 3, 4 games, 5 games, if get 7 games. Yeah, 7 games if he's not showing any sort of improvement.
Yep.
Like he needs to figure his shit out, and he's clearly not going to do it on his own. He needs
I can definitely get on board with that.
Yeah. Like embarrass him a little bit, put him on the floor.
Even if it's just for 2 periods, or even if it's 1 period, if he starts showing the player he can be.
That's right. And when he comes to the bench, then you say, that's how you fucking play, and that's when you'll go up a notch or a line.
Exactly. And I think both you and I'm not going to speak for you because you and I actually haven't really talked about it, but I know that Nazem Kadri can be a good player. I know that he can be, I'm not going to say elite because he's never been that,
No,
but he
exactly.
can be a good second line player.
Mhm.
But we haven't really seen it for more than maybe a half dozen games this year. And if he shows what he's capable of when he's sent a message, then move him back up.
That's right. Yeah, he's a veteran. So if he takes it as an insult and sulks, then you see what you have in the guy.
Yeah.
Like honestly.
And unfortunately, you can't do anything about it
True.
other than scratch him or fucking. Is it a
Yeah.
no move or is it a no trade? I think it's a no trade.
I think it's a no move. Brad was just handing him out like candy. You know,
Yeah.
he he panicked. I think would be a
And like if he was handing out no moves to like Lindholm and Anderson or something like that, that would be one thing. But even Huberto, I'm not really upset about that as much. But
I think
because he's a bona fide superstar that's having a bad year, in my opinion.
yeah, like I'm not yeah. I honestly think there needs to be an extremely special circumstance in which a player gets a full no move contract. And I don't think there might be 3 players in the league that I would say could have that. I think they hand him out way too much. The no trades, the modified no trades, fine. But full no move, like if you are shitting the bed and are not producing and playing like a bag of shit and can't be sent to the minors, sorry. Like that's
Who's
horse
who are the
shit.
3 players? Just out of curiosity.
I'll be honest, I don't even think there is any for full no move. Like all it does, like does it protect the player? It doesn't protect the team. I don't
No,
see
it
it.
doesn't protect the
I
team.
don't think it protects the player either. Right? It gives them the ability to
Coast.
kibosh anything, I guess. But I mean, it serves no purpose in my opinion
It
at
gives
all.
them the ability to act like James Neal.
Sure, or Nazem Kadri,
Yeah,
right? Like
that's a scary comparison, but not really all that off.
yeah. I mean, he's produced more than Neil did for Calgary, but it's just yeah. I hate no moves. They just it completely handcuffs the team.
I agree.
And the fact that Brad has handed out like 7 of them in the last year and a half, like holy shit, fucking knock it off.
I agree.
Right? Like,
Um,
yeah,
so
that's
one thing I want to talk about real quick too. Um, and like it's gonna sound like I'm, you know, on the Huberto train more than everybody else, probably because I am. But his hand eye the last couple games. That he's got 2 deflection goals in the last couple games, and that one in Ottawa. Oh man, that was beautiful.
that was nice.
And the
And
fact that he like didn't get his stick blade above his shoulders
yeah,
while doing it. For anyone that didn't see, there was kind of like almost a flip pass that happened. I can't remember who passed it to him.
it's Kadri.
Was it Kadri?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a flip pass from Kadri, and Huberto. It must have been 3 feet in the air or something like that,
Mhm.
and he just kind of like he didn't even really like swat it. He kind of like flicked
Yeah, just
upwards with his stick, and it kind of just hopped over the goalie and went in.
yeah.
And it was beautiful. And then the next game, he just was right place, right time.
Yeah, I think that one was more the
Stetcher
puck
took
hit
a
him.
shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stetcher took a shot, and it just kind of hit his stick and went in.
Mm.
But either way, it shows to me that he's getting more confidence. And honestly, I personally think this season is done for. But
Yeah, I agree. And in the last show, I said that I thought that we could um, make the playoffs. After the three games that have happened since then, there's not a chance.
yeah, I don't think so
Like
either.
like Winnipeg would have to essentially,
Not win.
yeah, they'd have to play like 400 hockey from here on out for us to even have a chance.
And Nashville, who's I believe above us in the standings and has 2 or 3 games in hand.
Three, yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah. So
but my point is if specifically Huberto and Markstrom go into next season with the confidence of how they've been playing the last 5 games, if they continue that for the rest of the year,
Mhm.
and then they go into next season with that confidence, then the team's going to be all right next season.
Mhm.
Not that it's a 2-player team, because it's not.
No, but yeah, we all know
But
how
when
important
your
goaltending
two
is,
best players,
Mhm.
you know,
they have to be your two best players, right?
yeah,
For at least 80% of the season.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I really think that we need to get Huberto on the top line. We're next
get
year
Lindholm
we'll
going.
get Lindholm going. Why not? He'd be a contract year, so why not get him going? So Brad can fucking overpay for him too.
Do you think Toffoli is? I think Lindholm's going to sign an extension before
I
next
hope
season
so.
starts.
And but in order for that to even work, we're gonna have to trade away a couple players, right?
Which leads me to my next question: is Toffoli a Flame next year?
Fuck. I'll say no. It's unfortunate. Like right,
It would be
as it
nice
is.
to keep him, but
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Last year when he first came in, like he was slow and it was problematic as far as I was concerned.
yeah.
This year, he has shown to me that he's still got it, right?
What scares me is, let me just double check, but I believe he's on pace for a career year, or at
Yeah,
least very close to it.
he is. Yeah.
See his points. His highest was 58, and he's got 56 already.
Yeah.
Goals, his highest was 28, and he's got 26 already. So he's almost, I want to say almost for sure, gonna have a contract or a career year. And we've already paid enough fucking players who are 30 and above, or around 30, for contract years. And I said this before the deadline because I wanted them to trade him before the deadline, not because I dislike Tyler Toffoli, but because asset management is important.
Mhm.
I would, I think it would be a mistake not to trade him, especially if he's on a career year. You can cash in on that. You can get some assets, and you can save the money you need to extend Lindholm, who's got more time to be a big part of the team's future,
Yep.
and extend Dubé, who, I mean, I don't think he has the upside Toffoli has as far as scoring, but I think he's the type of guy who can probably be in the middle six for the Flames for 4 mil for several years to come.
Mhm.
Um, and I think it would just be a mistake to keep Toffoli around.
Yeah,
Um,
I do too. The thing that really gets me, like for signing any additional contracts this year or this summer, if you will, is the fact that starting next year, without Shillington being part of the mix, we're already at 80.5 million, right? With only 18 players.
Well, Brian Pike threw something up there that if we have just everybody who's signed, not even the guys who are pending free agents next year, we're at 83.
That's what I'm saying with Shillington with his 2.5, right?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
83.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're expecting the cap to be at 83 or 83 and a half.
Yeah. I think it's supposed to go up one.
1
So
million.
83, 83 and a half. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and we still need 5 players.
5 players. Yeah. So you need to shed, I want to say, $5-ish million just to be able to sign enough players to be able to roster an AHL and an NHL squad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, thankfully the AHL doesn't affect the NHL cap.
No, but you still need
Yeah, you still need the players.
the players. And if
Right.
we're taking players from the AHL, you need to sign players to put in the AHL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
no, 100%. So the only player that's going to be a UFA as far as the main roster is, sorry, an RFA who needs a contract for next year is Walker Dewar. Obviously, I think that needs to happen.
100%. Is Dewar next year?
Yeah, his contract's up at the end of
fuck.
this year, and then in the minors, like nobody really that's worrisome.
No.
In my opinion, thankfully, so it's looking bleak as far as the contracts go. I don't know who's going to be signing those contracts because I truly don't think that Brad's going to be back.
Do you not think, or do you not want, or both?
Both.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Not that I think Brad makes all the decisions. I think that we've talked about this lots, but I think that Brad has he has say in what he brings to the owners, but the owners have the final say.
Yeah.
My problem is I don't think Brad has brought the right things to the owners.
I was going to say that it's pretty common practice that the person signing the actual checks makes those decisions.
Yeah.
But I don't think that I don't think he's bringing the right players or the right situations to the table at all.
Yeah, because the ideas aren't coming from Murray Edwards, but the final say is coming from Murray Edwards.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah,
and has been reported. But yeah, I would be surprised if Brad came back. Actually, no, I wouldn't even be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Because Edwards does have his yes man. And a lot of people love tree living. A lot of people do.
Yeah. I mean, I call those people fair weather fans, right? They're just, I'm kidding. Those are the people that are happy and complacent.
That was a bit of an inside joke from some ridiculous shit that was said earlier today.
Yeah, Richard, if you're watching, I got your back, buddy.
Yeah,
that was such horse shit.
Actually, let's just throw this out there real quick. What is the definition of a fair weather fan, Chris?
Definition of a fair weather fan is somebody that turns the TV off midway through the season because your team sucks shit, and then you don't continue to cheer for that team, and or you jump on the bandwagon of another team just because they happen to be hot, and you may come back next year if that first team's playing well again, when the weather is better weather, better fans.
Now, so is that to say that if somebody has a giant negative rant about the team that they've watched all season and will continue to watch all season and all next year and all the year after and all the year after and all the year after, that person is not a fair weather fan, right? That person is just a passionate person who sees things for what they are.
Passionate person and not happy with mediocre play.
Just wanted to make sure.
Wanting better for your team.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand what a fair weather fan is, so I figured we'd just get that out there.
Yeah, so if you're one of those people, knock it off and quit calling people that.
Yeah, a lot of us, you've been called a fair weather fan. I've been called a fair weather fan.
Yeah.
Here we are making a fucking podcast about a team that sucks ass. So apparently we're fair weather fans because we've switched the channel and we haven't watched or something. I don't know.
I'm trying to think of a game that I haven't watched in the last decade.
Any game I haven't watched in the last decade, I've listened to on the radio.
True.
So
true.
And that's just because I haven't been near a TV.
Yeah. And in fact, I on occasion have gotten in shit from my wife for being out in a social event or being out for whatever reason, and I'm watching it on my phone, under the table, things like that.
I've been shit on by previous bosses because I would bring my speaker in to work when I worked in kitchens and bore everybody else in the kitchen with the hockey game that was going on in 2017 when we sucked.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those were hard years, man. Those are hard years.
Yeah. But
you know what? You still cheered it on, and you still raised your hand for every goal and got excited for wins and all that fun stuff. It's sure being a fan. It's a fickle thing, right? There's all sorts of kinds of fans out there. There's ones that are just happy that the team exists.
And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with being blindly optimistic. That's totally fine. Just don't fucking shit on people for being realistic.
Yeah.
That's all.
Being realistic and just plain wanting more and better for your team.
Yeah.
Seems easy. Because I don't ever full on cheer for nameplates on the back. Like I cheer for the logo, this logo right here.
Yeah. Me too.
Players come and go. Don't get too.
I can't tell from looking at that room that you're sitting in that you cheer for a logo at all.
Yeah. It's funny. I don't have any name bars in here.
I know there's a couple underneath. I think there's a FNUF and a Giordano.
There's definitely a FNUF up there.
What's that?
There's definitely a FNUF up there. I've got my Stefan Yell, right? Right.
I'll bet like 80% of the people who are listening to this have no idea who that is.
Well, then they should hop on YouTube and watch a few of his beauty plays.
Before we sign off here, let's do predictions for the next. I guess we probably won't do another episode until after the Ducks game. Would be my guess. I don't know for sure, but let's do some predictions for the next 4 games because it's a pretty busy week coming up.
Yeah.
So
it's a weird schedule too, right? Like we're on Thursday we got Vegas in Vegas. And I want to give credit and kudos to the Vegas organization for stepping up with their 50-50 to donate the proceeds of their end of the 50-50 to ALS research in honor of Chris Snow from the Flames.
Yeah, cheers to that because that's really good of them.
It's a classy move.
I know, and I agree that they treat their players like absolute fucking shit for the most part, and they have a bad reputation for that and for flipping players when they shouldn't be flipping players and all that type of stuff. But as an organization, when it comes to the community of Las Vegas, second to none.
Yep. Yeah. Good on you guys. Well done. That being said, did we finally get our first win in Vegas?
Are we in Vegas? Yeah, we are in Vegas. Okay. And then a week later we're in Calgary against Vegas. So overtime loss
Wow. Okay.
because that's Calgary's MO. What do you think? I think it's going to be a 3-2 overtime loss.
I
It's
think
going
it's
to be
gonna.
Eichel just to piss you off.
Yeah. It'll be. I think it'll be 4-2.
For them,
Yeah, for Vegas with an empty net.
fair enough. So, yeah.
So we go from Vegas to a quick 1 game homestand. Got Dallas on Saturday.
So we play really fucking good against Dallas.
Yeah, they're good games.
They're really good games, and they always have, obviously Ottinger and Markstrom generally step up for those games.
Yeah.
3-1 win.
3-1 win.
Yeah, 3-1 win. I think Markstrom's gonna shut the door.
I think a Markstrom Ottinger battle is going to come back, and I think I do believe we're going to get the win as well. But I think it's going to be a 2-1.
Yeah, I'm gonna write these down just so we can
Laugh at ourselves later.
laugh at ourselves later. So Vegas, you said what?
4-2 Vegas. And just so you know, you're missing what could have been a beauty fight against Fleury and Beddington in the Minnesota St. Louis game.
Oh, they're not fighting though.
No, the linesmen would not let them get together.
Oh, I hate it when they do that.
Yeah.
And I know it's not a goalie thing, but I'm still fucking angry that after Phaneuf got traded, they didn't let Iginla and Phaneuf fight because that would have been fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I said 3-1 win.
Yeah.
And you said what?
2-1 win.
Okay, and what are we? Where are we?
Then we
here?
got Monday in LA. So
You take this one first.
So I think we're gonna.
First of all, who's playing? Which goalie? Because it's a back-to-back.
No, as well. It's the first of the back-to-back, so I think it'll be Markstrom.
And plus, it's a game we need more. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I think Markstrom will play against LA, and Anaheim will get Vladar. But
Okay.
I'm going to say 4-1 Calgary.
Okay. I am going to say, look, they like 1-goal game, so I'm going 4-3 Calgary.
Okay.
And Anaheim.
And then Anaheim the next night. So bottom feeding team. We haven't seen Vladar in a number of games.
We really think alike, I think.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be a 4-2 game for Anaheim.
I'm 5-1
Nice.
loss.
5-1. Damn. Who's getting our lone goal?
Oh God. Fucking it's gonna be a pinball off of fucking Lucic. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean realistically not. But
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even gonna comment.
Walker Doer.
Yeah, I give it that. I think it'll be Pelts.
He's due for 1 or 2.
He is. Or is that the game that Mangiapane finally fucking scores? God, I mean, he's trying hard.
He doesn't have a point in like 11 fucking games or something. I could be wrong on that, but that thought I heard that
Yeah.
on the broadcast the other day.
I mean, he even tried to tip in that that goal that who was that? Was that Huberdeau's? Oh no,
The
that was
deflection one.
Backlund's. That was Backlund's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he really wanted to tip that in the last half an inch over the line.
Yeah. Well,
There you go.
I think that's all we've got for today. Everybody, make sure to give us your predictions for the games in the comment section down below.
Yep.
Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that type of stuff. And check out the Hockey Podcast Network for podcasts on any other team that
Yep.
you might want to get
Yep.
some information about.
Yeah, that's right. Share with your friends if you want to spread the word. If you're liking what you're hearing, if you're not liking what you're hearing, I don't care. Give us a comment. Not going to offend me.
Let us know in the comments if you don't like it too.
That's right. Bring it on. Whatever you want. Anyways, thanks for watching another episode of the Armchair GM Podcast. Dylan
Go
and
Flames,
Chris.
go! You
Go
suck,
Flames.
but I love you.
Yes. Why do you hurt me so much?